Alrighty guys, how the hell you doing this morning? She's a bright sunny day, finally. It seems like this past week we've had more cloudy days than sunny days. But we're back in the field. This is second pass on the organics, on the Orgasmics land. Don't be hitting that lever, BP. Now we're starting off heavy. But it's nothing for Big Blue. Lift a little bit. Make this turn. These tight corners. So yeah, we're just doing headlands here this morning. And then we'll start going back and forth. And get this field second pass done. So far, from what I'm seeing, I'm really liking how it's working up. It's looking pretty darn good, I think. I'm leaving it down right here. It's a little bit of a tight corner, but just to chew up that grassy spot on the outside edge at a bit of a different angle. But it's surprising how much the grass is coming back already. But then again, the grass that's out here is that friggin' twitch grass, quack grass. Different parts of the world, they might call it something different, but up here, this is what we call it: quack grass, twitch grass. It'll pretty much grow anywhere. If you're using chemical, it's not that hard to kill. Any kind of cheap ass Roundup application will take it out. But if you're Orgasmic, then it's a son of a bitch. So our north quarter, where my barley was, that was a quack grass pasture. We had that ground plowed up when we bought the farm. We hired a guy to come in and he plowed it all under for us. And it was just loaded with quack grass. And I was just putting grain in the ground and trying to get a bit of a crop for feed. And it was working all right, except for the damn quack grass. So anyways, we could never get control of it. And then the one day I was out there with cultivator cultivating, and we had a patch, I don't know, about the size of my yard. One at the south end, one at the north end. And I said to myself, BP, you're saying you need more pasture, just spread this grass around. All of the farmers said it spreads like wildfire. So we took that friggin' cultivator and we just laced into those roots and we spread it all over that north quarter of mine where the barley was. Covered the whole thing in quackgrass root. Well, those roots took hold, and that was a quackgrass pasture for the last friggin' 20 years. It was doing actually really well for us. We would chew it down and it would grow right back up right away. And we would chew it down, and it was an awesome rotation pasture, actually. The only downside to that pasture was there was no water, so they had to come all the way back to the yard for the water all the time, but not the end of the world. So, but now we've got it all plowed down, and this is working up just beautifully, actually. Really, really happy with the way this is working up. Little bit of dust, not much. But yeah, it's... So yeah, that's getting all seeded down to hay on that quarter next spring. So, and this piece right here, it's going to be all hay next year. So if the grass doesn't get killed off, it's not the end of the world, because it actually does make a pretty good feed source for cattle. It's a grass. It's very similar in energy, protein, TDN levels as a smooth brome. So yeah, it works. Anywho, I'm gonna keep working the headland here. We got to get to the other end there, and then we'll start hitting this sucker back and forth. So I'll bring you guys back a little bit later. Alrighty guys, well, we're still rocking and rolling out here. Some areas where the grass grew in heavier, it's not chewing it up as black as I was hoping it would, but I think it'll be chewed up good enough that we can seed right into it next year. Biggest reason I'm doing this is because when we did the first pass, it left lots of sod type lumps, and we're definitely chewing up all those sod lumps. Then in the spring we'll be hitting her with the hoe drills. That'll break it up somewhat, and then a set of harrows, so that'll break it up somewhat. And then I'll be land rolling it for the stones, because oh my god, there's stones. CP and I got our work cut out on this field here. We'll have to pick the stones off, and that's going to take a bit, because there's a pile of rocks in this little piece. It's only 45 acres, but we're going to have to spend a couple days out here picking stones, that's for sure. One real good day anyways, just to get all of the stones that are like that bastard right there, basically the size of a small basketball. So, but right now we're going straight east and west. Before we went at an angle, which would have been northeast, southwest-ish type of thing. So we're cross-cutting. Anyway, some disc shot for you. Just a hint of dust coming off of there, not much. I'll be honest guys, I don't know if this is the right thing or the wrong thing, but I think for organic land, working your ground down late in the fall will help take care of some of the weeds also. It'll, you turn up those roots and loosen up that ground, and it'll basically, oh that's a bad one, freeze some of them roots out and kill them off with frost. So it's not as heavy next year. That's my thoughts anyway. Whether it actually works or not, I have no freaking idea. I'm still learning this game a little bit, right? But the one thing I do know, if I put hay in here, it's gonna grow. We've got a lot of organic matter in this ground, I think. And I know when I was seeding it last spring, there was a lot of bugs in the soil out here, so that tells me there's a lot of organic matter out here. So the hay should grow quite well. Anyway, I got about 2.5 hours left to go before we're done. So fun. Let's get her done. We'll catch y'all later. Well, we're stopped here, guys. You guys see anything wrong back there? No? Anything? There's something wrong. Yep. Broke the goddamn shaft. Son of a bitch. Guess we ain't gonna finish this field today. We're heading home now. It's Sunday, so nothing's open. So I guess we gotta go home. We'll tear this sucker apart. And tomorrow morning I gotta see about getting parts for it. Just lovely. And anywho, I guess that's how she goes when you're running a disc, right? Alrighty, I'm gonna let you guys go. We'll talk to y'all later. Alrighty guys, so obviously we're back home here. There's a few ways of pulling the gang out, but the way I've been doing it lately, set the machine down on the ground, undo 6 bolts, and I'll show you where those bolts are. It's the bolts that attach the gang to the cushion bracket, and also to the scraper bracket. So it's 6 bolts on that particular gang. There's 2 bolts at every bearing housing, and that's how it pulls off of that bearing housing. So when I'm by myself, which right now I am, CP is gone to get the Bobcat. So once you got your bolts undone, just lift, and there it is. See that? And if you want to get really elaborate, you can back up a little bit. That way it's pulled out of the road, right? So there. Now it's easier to pick up and get it into the shop, tear it all apart, get a measurement on the shaft so that we get the right size of shaft, and then we can work at getting the right shaft tomorrow and putting it all back together and finishing the field. Alrighty, I'll let you go. We'll talk to y'all later. And so those 6 bolts here, right there, and then right there. This is the scraper. This is the cushion shank. And when the scraper is mounted, this shank can flex about 2 inches from this top point right here. It'll hit on this bottom plate if you hit a rock that hard. But we obviously hit a number of rocks that it ended up breaking that shaft. And here she comes. So we're gonna roll this shaft out of here and work at getting it in the shop. I'll talk to you guys later. Yep, he's running. There's a gang back in. We didn't have to run for a new one yet. So the year I bought this thing, I was having trouble with this gang because it would always back off, and I never had no pins to put in the hole in the end. And we replaced the gang, and it's been working really good until obviously today it broke in half. The CP found the old gang, because I keep everything when it comes to steel, and the threads are not very good, but maybe with that cotter pin in the end, it'll hold that crown nut, or that nut I should say, not crown nut, but the nut itself. Maybe it'll hold it in there so it doesn't back off. You awesome, babe. You saved us about 180 bucks, because I think that's what that gang is worth. You want a tip? I'll give you a tip. How long did it take us to pull that out and put it back in? What time is it?
I didn't look at the clock. I don't look at my phone like you do. 2:07.
2:07.
So whatever, I don't know.
So about an hour, hour and 15 minutes to pull that gang out and fix it and put it back together. And that was with help from CP. Thank you very much, babe. What's in the pail?
My prize.
Oh, your horseshoes. Alrighty, I guess I'm gonna see if it'll hold together and see if I can finish that field, okay? Yeah? Okay? Or it'll break. One or the other.
No breaking.
No breaking? I'll try not to. Love you, babe. Love you, bye. Let's see if we can go break this thing again, right? Not. Okay, talk to you guys later. Alrighty, guys, well, all we got left is like about 5 acres from this bush right here to that bush back there. Maybe not even 5 acres. It might only be about 4 acres. But so far our fix is holding, so that's a plus. The CP saved the day. It was her idea to give this a try, and it just worked out where it had that hole run through the shaft for a pin, and so far it's working. So let's get this stuff done, right? It's looking pretty good. Probably a rock right there. It looks like the gang bounced up. You can see that water run. There was quite a bit of grass in it. And you could follow it all the way across the field. Hopefully by opening it up, the water will soak into the ground better come springtime, and we'll be able to seed right through that sucker. I'm hoping. I'm a-hoping. Anywho, I'm going to continue on, get this done, and when I am done, I'll bring you all back. Talk to you later.